Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another week of the Walking Dead podcast talking about episode 12 called Remember. Do you guys all remember? I remember. Because I just watched the episode about an hour ago.
Do you remember the time?
There we go.
We need more drops. We need more drops.
Maybe I'll put MG at the end of this one.
Nah, I think we got to keep the last one special. I don't think it should be a recurring thing. But this episode,
you're gonna diminish the effects of the drops.
Yeah,
the drops we don't have in the live sessions.
Right.
Michael Jackson drops would be pretty priceless. Yeah. But I have a feeling a few people in this group, namely all of us, would be abusing those, and it would probably have to get taken away. This episode was actually, I thought it was a pretty decent surprise. I mean, spoiler alert, I enjoyed it for just because it was kind of refreshing. But we didn't really get any reveal as to who's a villain or whatever, because I know that's what we kind of left off talking about. Are these guys good or bad? But we got a lot of exploration of the town and all that stuff, and I guess I still don't know what to think. You know, I think they're kind of putting on the facade, if there is a facade, better than anybody, better than Woodbury, better than anybody has prior. But I don't know. Are you guys still of the same mind?
I definitely think something's going to go pear-shaped one way or the other, but with the writing that they did on this episode, and as much bitching as I do about it, I'll applaud it a little bit on this, because especially at the end with Rick kind of saying, you know, that if something goes wrong, we'll just take, you know, or they don't like it, we'll just take this town or whatever. I think that's a really refreshing take on how the characters are going to be from here on out.
I agree.
It's not what we've been fearing, where they're going to be stupid and fall for the same old thing again.
I agree. Badass Rick's coming back, and he kind of gave away what I think. I mean, obviously, what's going to happen towards the end of this season, where all shit's going to go haywire, and then he's going to take over the camp. But
I like it. So, do you think that in a way? I mean, it's funny because maybe Rick and company are going to kind of fill that void of the antagonist. I mean, they're not the antagonist, but they kind of like lead you along the whole episode. You know, they're getting comfortable. Everybody's kind of getting comfortable.
They all got a chip on their shoulder as they're kind of, you know, going through the motions of getting assimilated into life in the new town. And Carol's lying to people about who she really was, and yeah.
I miss that man every day, her husband. Yeah.
Yeah. I had dinner ready for him, and, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Why was she doing that? Was she just trying to kiss up or what?
I think it was almost more kind of, well, I mean, maybe just kind of not revealing her true identity to people, but maybe at the same time it's kind of like
fresh start.
Yeah, she could be whoever she wants to be at this new place.
Clearly, she's a little bit more on board because of the dialogue between her and Daryl that they exchanged. You know, Daryl, he's dirty. He still hasn't even showered, for God's sakes, which I don't buy for a second. I don't care if you don't trust those people. Take advantage of the damn shower.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't showered in God knows how long. Your ass fucking smells so goddamn bad.
You know, exactly. Rick Grimes, he's got one eye open. Norman Reedus has three eyes open. Like, he's still the outcast. You saw it, and they played the contrast of that pretty heavy. You know, they're on the front porch of that new house. Rick's all clean shaven, and he's still ripping the guts out of a raccoon like an animal.
Which he'll never change either. He's always going to be that guy, and I can't really see him settling down, regardless of what happens.
No. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he basically is, you know, a hillbilly. He's out, you know, that's his character. That's who he is. Mm-hmm. He can't really, you know, he's not somebody to assimilate into natural society.
Even rednecks bathe, for God's sakes. I mean,
there's no swimming hole for him to go down to.
Speaking of which, I kind of missed it. I mean, I know she was kind of talking about it with Rick. You know, the whole thing, she brings him in, she interviews him, she puts him on camera. How exactly are they managing to have electricity and plumbing and all that stuff, running water? I mean, how
solar powered.
So it's on the solar grid. It has its own solar grid, it said. As far as running water, I'm not really quite sure.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, for Christ's sakes, you know, the ancient Romans had running water, so I'm sure an aqueduct system or something or other really isn't too terribly difficult to rig in this day and age. But no, I don't think that she got into the real specifics about it.
Overall though, I really liked the episode because I think it was fairly realistic. It's where I would have hoped they would have went and acted towards this new community. The whole them, like you said. I mean, I didn't think Rick was going to be gullible, but everybody else is sort of following suit. The whole, you know what, we're all going to sleep together. We're not, everybody's having a hard time, kind of assimilate. Carl, he's acting a little introverted. Rick had his little freak out running, to Carl and whatever. And that's the way I think it really would be. I mean, how long have they been out there? 5 years, 4 years, 3? I don't know. It'd be a lot like prison. You're locked up, fucking dudes for 5 years, and then you get thrown back into the real world. Whatever. But I don't know. I'm just glad that they acted a little bit more naturally, I think.
And then we kind of catch a glimpse of the first guy Rick's going to kill, which is that girl's husband smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. What's up with that? First of all, when they first introduced that character, which, I can't really remember her name right now, it instantly spelled out, okay, she didn't really come off like a bad person. She kind of said, hey, maybe this is going to be Rick's new woman. Because I didn't read her as, hey, this is a married woman. She kind of came off like a single parent as well. So I was actually really shocked to see, I think as Rick was, to see the husband on the porch. And you'd think she would have mentioned him, which is kind of weird. Because she mentioned the kids and the whole deal when they were on the topic of spouses and families and stuff. But I don't know. Harlot, exactly. I thought she was attractive. I thought she's probably the most attractive woman on the show just because she looks really real,
No, I agree.
But I don't know. Rick needs a little action. He needs to get back on his feet. We had a lot of contrast. We had a lot of symbolism. Him cleaning up, giving the haircut. He's wearing. It was really weird throwback. We haven't seen clean cut Rick since the first season, wearing the cop's uniform and the short hair and the whole deal. Kind of miss grimy Rick, but
I love the beard, man. He needs it back.
He does.
But I think it's cool. I think everything about this episode was very refreshing, and I didn't even hate Carl in this episode.
No,
I do find it funny that Eugene has become this season's T-Dog. Yeah. Now he's not saying a single word. Ever since he got his face bashed in, he does not loose lips, man. He does not say a word.
Yeah, he has. I don't think he said a line. And Father, what's his face, hasn't really said much either.
No, man. He just is always sitting down and shutting up.
What I want to know is why they sent out Everybody Loves Chris to be a scavenger when you have that big ass fucking red haired guy who's probably just sitting back or farming or whatever he's doing.
I like how.
What the fuck is Abraham doing? Just hanging out, scratching his butt?
You think you should be out there actually getting some food and some supplies. But...
Right. Everybody Loves Chris got a goddamn gimpy leg. What are you sending him out there for?
And, which, by the way, I don't think I really noticed him limping in this episode. I don't know if they focused
he was a little bit.
He was,
I noticed that he was attempting to be tough and trying to mediate the fight between Glenn and What's-Her-Face's son. Come on, man, take a step back. Not really. He didn't really put too much effort there. I
was kind of hoping that Glenn would get his face bashed in.
But that was cool. That was the one thing that kind of leads you to believe that I don't know how to feel about these guys. They're all, it's too good to be true. It really seems too good to be true type of thing. I'd be the same way. But then you have What's-Her-Face's, I don't remember her name either, man. What's the leader?
Deanna.
Deanna, you got her son, who's sort of your first recluse character.
I just watched the episode, but I don't remember a goddamn person's name.
Oh, come on! I didn't know T-Dog's name until he died. These characters are so one-dimensional.
How do you not catch T-Dog? It's not really.
Look. I think every single episode.
What's the name of the show again?
Whenever. Damn it! What is her fucking name? There I go again.
Deanna.
No, whenever you always call her the lesbian. Whenever she's on the episode, we never remember her name on the spot. You know why? Because they don't get enough time,
Tara.
And they don't get. Yeah, Tara. There you go. But this show's all about that. They haven't been around. I don't know the father's name. What's his name? Father what?
Father
Flanagan.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We call what's his face Billy Ray Cyrus. We make up their own names. All right.
Seamus,
yeah. This isn't my fault. But anyway, Deanna, her son was sort of the first.
I didn't even catch that was her son. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was her son, if I'm not mistaken. And he mentioned that. Yeah, he was. he was sort of what?
Between
What?
the three of us, I think we have one episode watched.
He was when as soon the first moment when he was out there with Glenn taking them on the raid, he mentioned it. Yeah, that's my mom, whatever.
Yeah.
And and you could tell there's a mother-son thing going on. You'll see me in a minute. I'm glad you knocked his ass out. That I don't know. It just seemed like a mother-son type thing. But anyway, he was the first character that sort of broke the illusion a little bit. This guy's not perfect. They're hanging zombies for fun because we're holding something against this lifeless undead thing that killed our buddy. So we're going to torture it, who we presume can't feel a damn thing. I don't know. That whole thing was really weird and a little...
The humans do that against animals all the time.
But would you act like that to an animal? Like, this dog killed my best friend. We're going to...
I know people that probably would.
I don't know.
Those people are fucked up.
I know.
I don't understand, though. But I don't know. I think in the next episode we'll get a big revelation as far as what's going to happen with these people. And she made a lot of mention of Virginia and stuff like that. She has to know a lot about D.C. She was in Congress, I think she said, right? And didn't she say that was totally wiped out, or what was the story there?
That she never made it back.
She never made it back.
Where were they going? I can't remember. She said she was going. They were taking them somewhere, but they never made it, and they got diverted over to where they're at now, and the army never came back for them somewhere. I think they're going to Ohio.
She's probably the most interesting character of this episode. Because you get a little bit of background with her and everything, but she seems pretty open, but yet you really don't trust her still.
Well, the thing we were talking about last time,
she was she worked for the goddamn government. Of course you don't trust her. I'm surprised they didn't have Daryl say some stupid line like that.
Yeah.
The last episode we were talking about not knowing how the end of the season was going to go. Like, I didn't want to have us just a shit ton of characters, and them to take the community in like they did Woodbury. But, Andrew Lincoln did an interview this week where he was saying, by the end of season 5, we're going to have more characters than ever. So he pretty much blew it that, yes, this town isn't all bad, and he'll be taking a lot of them in, and we're just going to have this big community. But yeah, it's just a matter of who's bad. We don't know who the wolves are. We don't know if they're within this community. We don't know if they're an outside threat. I don't necessarily trust everybody. Maybe Deanna's fine, but maybe, like you said, that guy's husband is somewhat of a threat. Maybe he's part of this so-called wolves. Maybe it's some sort of like internal society between Deanna's son, that chick's husband, and we don't know what that little emo girl was up to. Why was she jumping the fence? They never said anything about that. Carl watched her jump the fence, and then he went and followed her. And then it pretty much cut to the whole Glenn on the raid and getting in a fight with Deanna's son. And then all of a sudden she was back inside the walls. They never touched on that.
I think with that girl, I think that kind of, I don't know if it was meant to be implied or if they'll touch on it later, but they said since she was from the outside and she was kind of fresh to being inside there, I think that was kind of her going back to being beyond the wall, and that's where she felt comfortable.
Well, I think she's a spy for the wolves.
But see, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, you know what? They never finished it. I thought we were going to see where the hell she was going. We never finished it. Carl kind of lost her.
Yeah, Carl lost her.
And then somehow Carl came across his dad looking for the gun in the blender, which was not there, by the way. Something else we have to talk about. So yeah, I was thinking, you know what? I wonder if this girl. I wonder if she was going back feeding information to these so-called wolves. I don't recall how long they said she was there. I think it was some months.
8 months or something like that.
That's a long time to be a mole.
Yeah, well, you obviously tell she's not really fitting in with everybody either. So
yeah,
she's not really embracing where she is.
Carl's got a new Beth on his hands. He's got a heart on. He sees a little. He sees a little bit of camaraderie with this one. She's a little bit outside of everybody else, but no, I think there's something definitely with her, and I was thinking exactly what River was thinking. But the gun in the blender that Rick was hopefully taking a shit in, but he never did, was gone.
That was obviously her, man.
You think it was?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what's the motive there? So Aaron keeps an eye on him. Obviously, they were keeping an eye on him for a long time. Who else was keeping an eye on him? How did the girl know about him? I mean, did she go around just through a bunch of blenders?
Well, maybe she was out there when Rick was actually putting it away. Maybe she was out, spying on who was coming in the camp. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone give me something. For an episode I think we all liked, we're all kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, it's because... It's because it's something that's actually interesting. I don't know. As far as the gun goes, like they've actually done something that they haven't done for a while and left us with more questions and actual answers, and for once actually entertained us recently. I shouldn't say for once, but for once more recently actually entertained us and left us with a lot more questions, and we can actually come up with explanations. So I mean, as far as who took that gun, I mean, I don't know if you guys watched on the next episode. So Daryl,
I didn't catch it.
It shows Daryl kind of in this wandering out past the wall, and somebody's following him. I think it's Aaron. And then, so I mean, I kind of figured that maybe that they had already had a set of eyes when they pulled up to Alexandria beyond Aaron and his boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But I think that's where it went. I don't know if the girl took it, because unless she was out there when they showed up originally, but she very well could have been.
I think Aaron's taking a liking to Daryl.
Yeah, there we go. We're gonna have a gay love triangle in The Walking Dead.
He wants to touch his greasy piece.
I just don't like. Aren't they? They seem to be pretty particular about who they take in, and they said they even watched their group for a long time. They saw they were survivors, and they could utilize them. So I get it. This one girl, I can't remember her name.
Emo?
I know she's a kid, but still, you'd think they would want to know, were they not watching her? They just took some stray that showed up at the door, not questioning who she might be affiliated with?
Yeah, well, and who did she just show up by herself? Does she have a family? I can't remember if those two other kids failed to mention if she had a family or not. I don't think they did.
They don't. They just said that, hey, she's kind of new too. They just kind of left it at that, and she just like she's a stray. I think. I mean, that's the way
I honestly didn't even think to begin to start putting the pieces together with her. I just kind of
really.
Thought, oh yeah, there's another kid. All right.
No, I mean, clearly
I thought it was going to be more of a love interest for Carl than anything.
I hope not. I don't want more of that drama going on.
Yeah.
We already got lucky, and Maggie didn't say a damn word in this episode. We literally saw her at the very end give a look to Glenn or something after
just smiling.
She got all hot when Glenn knocked him out. Like, but
doing his taekwondo.
Yeah, I don't think that was taekwondo, but
that's racist.
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
I think it was called bobbing and weaving and giving a good old left hook.
Pretty sure it was karate.
Whatever.
That didn't hurt very much because I know karate.
All right, now we've gone racist.
That was on The Simpsons, man. When he got hit in the eye and he's got a black eye, he's like, that didn't hurt very much because I know karate.
You're so sensitive, Pat.
Pat's the biggest teddy bear out of all of us, I think. River can't afford to be a teddy bear because he gets the most hate.
That's fine with me.
We got people hating on him still.
Oh yeah. I mean, every now and again he gets the comments. I mean, I think he's the only person I think that has gotten particular criticism. I mean, there's probably general criticism out there.
I'm the voodoo doll of the group.
No, I think I know Pat's gotten compliments on his voice. I've been told I had a fuck voice, which I think sounds good. I took it as a compliment. But yeah, I mean, I've heard some things I don't want to repeat on the air about Riverman here.
Man,
but I don't. It's just immaturity.
I haven't heard these things. Okay.
The worst part about it is he's not even like trying to troll you people, and he's getting that reaction out of it. Wow, all right.
Yeah, it's funny. But anyway, so with this episode, I don't see where else. I think we've covered everything. I mean, the big things about this episode are the girl, which I think she is something more than just a love interest. The gun, and they're probably all connected. The husband of the hairdresser, and obviously Deanna's son. Those are sort of the four. And I guess we didn't see much of Aaron in this at all. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, he showed him the house and said, hey, I'm 4 doors down. If you get horny, come knock.
I'll keep it on the DL.
He'll be standing outside, like we talked about last week, masturbating into his hand. He's outside Rick's window.
or as they're just like walking by, wandering around the town, he's just mowing his grass naked or something like that. Like, hey guys, you want some lemonade?
What purpose is all those fancy TVs they got in them houses? I get it, they got electricity, but
that was a question I was kind of gonna ask.
Video games, man. They're playing video games.
I know, but like, where I understand this is like some super posh neighborhood, but it's almost just too perfect. You know what I mean? Like, was it a? It almost seems like it's a contingency plan for, government workers or something like that. So, but at the same time, she said that it was supposed to just be a rest stop, and they were supposed to be on their way. So, was it really just this really upscale neighborhood that had its own power and water grid? But I guess I'm not really that in touch with happenings on in my city, but I don't know if such things exist in my area. So I don't know if they have to exist for a reason. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
There's still things that are unsaid and unanswered about all that. It is a little too perfect, and I don't know the whole job system thing. I mean, I do think that's cool. By the way, she gave Rick the job as the officer.
Bunch of goddamn communists.
It's just emulate. I mean, I like it. It's kind of going full circle. It's kind of emulating, and I think that's what's creating a big ruse and the bigger facade. And it's really fucking with their heads. Like, what, this is too perfect. This is, they made a mention a million times. This is the kind of place, Mom wanted us to live. He's like, this is the kind of house we want to move in someday. Everything's too perfect. It's just, and then he's getting the haircut. He's cleaning up. He's got the showers. Carl has friends. They even
which yet again they're beating us over the head with their stupid blatant symbolism, which I just don't even care anymore. I was entertained by the episode, so I just kind of found it humorous.
I don't know who brought it up a few weeks ago, but I think they're pretty much spot on for what's going to happen towards the end of the season. I think Michonne's going to get it. It's kind of setting her up for that because she's becoming, kind of soft, and I could just see that happen.
She's fully letting her guard down from what it seems. I think that they've shown that again with the lying that Carol did. That kind of she's still capable of deceit and kind of thinking, not totally buying into it. But Michonne, for the most part, seems to totally be drinking the Kool-Aid. And then I think Glenn will get it just because he's being so brash. So I think that guy will kill him.
He needs to go, man. He's been around too long, man, and we need to make room for Morgan. So Morgan's still out there.
I'm looking forward to seeing Morgan. I am.
We can only have one minority sidekick at a time.
It works that way.
Booby trap the place, though, man. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, it does work that way because Morgan, Glenn, and Rick have never been in the same scene at the same time.
Yeah.
No. You think they're really going to introduce more homosexuals? No. If you introduce no, seriously, no. I'm being very serious here.
Then it runs the risk of being queer as folk.
No, exactly. No, I'm being serious there. If they were to introduce multiple gay people, then all of a sudden it would be a gay show, a gay TV show.
Hold on. I think they couldn't introduce any more gay men. They could introduce a lesbian couple, which
we have a lesbian.
We already have one.
We already have, but yeah, three's a crowd, so we can have another gay dude.
It's just like if Rick and Carl were the only two white people on the show, then it would just kind of be. It would look like an ethnic show. It'd
be on BET.
The Cosby Show had one white person, and that was Adam Sandler. and he didn't swing it. He was still a black TV show.
That's horrible.
It's true.
Did Martin have any white people?
No, not a damn one. The Jamie Foxx Show? No, not a damn one.
Living Color had Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
and it was still a black show.
Yeah,
it was still an ethnic. It was seen as like that demographic. Yeah, and there was like one white woman. I'm just saying, this is.
I know. We just go off the train tracks really fast.
That's the way it works on TV.
And that's unfortunate.
Segregation.
Anyway, I want to get into predictions. I want to get into predictions. Like I said, more questions than answers. But I think I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm kind of going off along with what River was saying. I mean, I will be brash enough to say that maybe that the Wolves is some sort of like secret society, or it has something to do with the husband and the son of Deanna. Because maybe Deanna is someone legit, and she really does butt heads with the son. I don't think it's a thing where you two come see me immediately, and they all meet up in their office and they're like, "You guys got to quit blowing our fucking ruse like that." She might be legit, but the son, maybe he has different things under his sleeve, and I think he's in cahoots with the father. The girl, I don't know yet, but I think there's something to do with the wolves. Morgan, I don't know. Your guess is mine. I mean, remember at one point I'm like, maybe he's in the wolves. Is he really just a drifter? Is he really just been surviving by himself this whole time? Is he still watching them? Or when they teased us at the very start of the season where they showed him looking back, was he in Florida for all we fucking knew? Was he like not even near us, you know? But hopefully, I think we'll reveal that stuff by the next episode. We better anyway. But
I still think Deanna could be kind of a bad seed. Like maybe she has something to do with the wolves.
I'm unsure.
She might have something to do with the wolves too.
Then in the next bit, they made it seem like her and Sasha are gonna have a bit of a conflict. It looked like she was sending Sasha out on a run of some sort to kind of earn her keep type thing. So it almost kind of seemed like she's preying on who she might see as weak, but and I could kind of see that in the character, especially after the one-on-one interviews.
Yeah, which I thought that was cool how they did that.
I thought that was cool. Especially Rick's, I thought that was really well written.
Yeah,
and she's keeping a certain distance with Daryl because Daryl's, like I said, he ain't budging. He's got three eyes open, and she made a mention, I don't understand him yet, and we'll have a job for him. She's not going to be the person she's attacking, like you say, Sasha, psychologically.
From the looks of it, it almost like seemed like, again, they edit this thing completely crazy. Regardless of what actually happens, they'll make it seem like something completely different happens than that actually does. So it almost looked like Daryl and Aaron when they were out there. It looks like Aaron was getting ready to take a shot at Daryl and chasing after him and stuff like that. So I'm not exactly sure, but I can definitely see Daryl being a source, kind of being a fly in the ointment of whatever plan that Deanna and her son and maybe the guy in the shadows have planned, and then running back and kind of being the malcontent and telling Rick what's going on, and then Rick taking it over from there.
Yeah, and regardless of which individual is actually bad and which one's not so bad, I think that there's bad in this place, and I don't know, they'll end up taking it over or something. But the thing is they wouldn't have Daryl being so skeptic if everything was sunshine and rainbows, because they would never do that to the character. They would never have him be like, well, I was wrong, I will conform, and I'll wear a suit and tie, and they're not going to do that. He's got his intuitions about him. He's the wild man. He has the scent.
Well, we've seen him be a little more kind of house trained, so to speak, when they were at the prison, but that was kind of on their own terms. He wasn't being accepted by an outsider. So, I mean, it took him, almost 2 seasons to actually be kind of friends with Rick. So, and even then, after Merle came back, he still wasn't too thrilled about it. But
his best friend and girlfriend Carol, went from loving him and calling him Pookie to telling him to wash up and get clean and conform. You disgust me. He clearly didn't like that.
And now she's wearing mom jeans.
I don't think he would be acting like this if it wasn't for a reason. So there's definitely something bad here. It's not great. I think they'll take it over. But like I said, I'm not totally sold that Deanna's necessarily the bad one here. Her son's bad, and the Super Size Me guy in the shadows is bad. That's who he looks like to me in the shadows.
Morgan Spurlock?
Morgan Spurlock. He kind of reminded me of dark, Morgan Spurlock. But I have to attach celebrities to these people. I don't even know his name yet.
It's a silhouette. Okay, whatever.
He looked like a silhouette. Go ahead.
But I think we'll definitely get the hint or the reveal on who the real antagonist of this place is. And I don't think they're going to drag this out. They pretty much said a lot. In the setup of this place in this one episode, and they did it really well. I don't see them doing it again. There's no more room for it. They're going to reveal something, even if it's little things like who took the gun, like you said, all that little stuff. I mean, we'll at least, maybe not to them, but at least as a viewer, we'll know who the bad guy is, even if they're still skeptic, I think. But I don't know. It's pretty much all I got for it, though. But I liked it. I'm actually probably going to give it a 9. And I'm actually going to give it a 9, and I'm not going to give it I'm not going to say that. Like I said, go back in time and look at the 9s that we've given or whatever in the past. We gave them for different reasons. I'm not even going to compare them to those episodes, like the classic him biting the jugular episode, Carl getting raped episode. I mean, that stuff's tops. Don't get me wrong, but this episode was just so different, and it was refreshing, and the rating itself is benefiting from what it was surrounded by. It was literally a breath of fresh air, and I like the change up. So I'll give it a 9. I might regret it, but I'm giving it a 9.
I think that was just the first number you spat out of your head, so you just have to roll with it.
Disagree with me and give me something else. Throw something at me. What do you think? What do you think's gonna?
Man, I kind of think you're a little spot on, man. This is an episode where I can actually, like, not a lot happened, but I can actually go back and watch it a second time. The past 4 or 5 episodes, I can't really say that because I really didn't.
I actually watched the last 15 minutes over again because I wanted to hear some of the stuff again, and especially that last line with Rick saying the whole thing, "We'll just take it." You know, because you know you had the ambience in the background of it being dark, and it's like like the musical cue that Rick isn't an idiot, like he's still got that inside of him, and the crazy Rick. Because who knows, you know, maybe instead of Rick being the dupe here, maybe he's the one doing the duping. I'll conform, I'll shave, I'll clean, you know, I'm doing this whole thing, but, you know, don't let that be fooled. I literally rewatched that line about 4 times because I wanted to get what he meant by that.
That and the fact you're actually developing some characters here, which makes the show more entertaining, in my opinion. I would give this I would give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it that much. I think this is the first 8 out of 10 I may have given it this season. So.
This episode, nobody's mentioned the cameo by Scott Ian.
Yeah, that's true.
But this episode,
Scott Ian was in it.
Yeah, Scott Ian was the zombie under the car or whatever that like moved his hand and almost got Rick on the leg. And, thrusted that like pole through his head. Yeah. He got a lot of screen time for a zombie. It was on there a lot, but you know there wasn't too much zombie action in it at all. But the thing is this episode. It almost had a completely different genre than what we're used to. It was conspiracy. It was very weird. It was like it was I don't know. It was like
it goes back to season 2.
Yeah, it was really weird. It was more like I just can't.
Or you actually have a story and you're progressing a little bit.
God,
there's a perpetuating plot. You want to actually see what happens next. Yes. You're not just waiting for the next scene to be. You're not waiting for the current scene to be over just so you can get on to the next one. You know, you want to see the next one.
They really sucked me into the episode pretty well as far as I felt their alienation. I kind of felt their paranoia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
And it was very interesting, and I found myself putting myself in that situation, like, how would I feel if I was, you know, out for 5 years?
Yeah, it was actually believable them going in there and actually staying together as a group and everything.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, taking it step by step. And like I said, I was really happy with that very last line because they kept kind of towing the line, like, you know, Rick's accepting the job, he's putting on the uniform, but it's like, hopefully he's not riding the fence, and they kind of fool you for a second, and then he's holding on to it. He says that line at the end, you know, like, you know, we'll take it if we have to. And it's like, God, is Rick, you know, Rick's a hard ass. I like it. Because the theme was like, oh, you know, I don't want to get too comfortable here. We'll get soft. We'll get soft. We'll get soft. I just think that Rick's one of those guys, and that's why he's, quote unquote, the leader. Those type of people, they're thinking 15 steps ahead, and they have to. All these other people, like your Michonnes, they're thinking in the now, one step ahead. Like, hey, I want to bathe tomorrow. I want a place where I don't have to run from things tomorrow. You know, Rick's, you know, looking into the horizon. So I loved it. I'm sticking by my 9. Pat, it's your turn. We got an 8 and 9.
I'm going to go the same with River, go with an 8. The writing was absolutely solid on this. And I have, other than the blatant kind of retarded symbolism that they use with Rick shaving and everybody, you know, the shower washing it all off, which, I mean, it's inevitable and it's obvious, but at the same time, I thought it was really clever what we have now with these characters kind of being in the position that they're in, almost having the drop on the residents of Alexandria, because they showed with Deanna's son that not only is he kind of, you know, what would be head of security or whatever, but they kind of hinted that he's incompetent. And if they are, you know, like you guys suggest, they're kind of the wolves being a secret society amongst them. It seems like they're going to be a little more hot-headed and quick to act, whereas Rick and the others are going to be a little more calculated.
Maybe Deanna's son has it out for his mom. Maybe they want to fucking take over. You know, maybe they don't have a great relationship. I don't know. There's
internal power struggle again. It just there's so many. As much as we may bitch with the new characters coming into a situation and us not wanting to have to keep track of the. I mean, shit, we can barely remember Glenn's name, but it does add, if done properly, it does add another dynamic to the show that can make it, again, more interesting and more entertaining. So please don't fuck it up.
And if Deanna is if she's legit in her promises and whatnot, and then that means that she legitimately made Rick like head chief police law enforcer.
Who says fucking constable? This isn't 19th century fucking England.
But no, I agree. But
he's not looking for Jack the Ripper.
But I'm saying if she's legit, that means she legitimately put her over her son, who's head of security, and that would only burn the son even more.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he knows or if that.
Yeah, it's like, my son's not competent. I want you to uphold the law. And you know what? That would be a feasible enough sales pitch to me. Like if I was talking to Rick and I was that chick in the office, like, look, this place is great, but it's not perfect. No place is perfect. There's got to be order. You'll have people. If there wasn't any order, if we didn't keep order here, you would have other people breaking into other people's homes around here. You'd have someone raping somebody eventually. We need to keep. That's why somebody like Deanna's son acting like an asshole isn't totally like blowing the whole thing. He could just be an asshole, rotten apple in the litter. And you need someone to just flick him on the nose every now and again, because you're going to have all those assholes. Not everywhere is total utopia. But I'm starting to lean towards that maybe he's just the bad apple over Deanna. But I'm actually very, very intrigued. And I think with these ratings, doesn't that make it the best episode of the season? I think it's the highest rated episode of the season.
I believe so.
Episode 2, maybe, where he killed what's-his-face and everybody?
What was that? Oh, was that the first half?
Yeah.
Oh, I forget that was season 5. This whole fucking half thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so that was the best. This is a close second, because that was one of the best. That actually might have been the best scene in the whole series.
Yeah.
But no, it's great, and it's taking a turn, and I'm looking forward to the next one, actually. So,
see how hopeful we are, people, when they pull their heads out of their fucking asses?
No, we keep saying it a million times, we're not a bunch of haters here, and I'm surprised that it's as even as it is, because I literally thought, when I saw this episode, I was starting to get nostalgic feelings of like season 2 or 3. Thought I was gonna. In the sense that I thought I was gonna sit there and give it a really good rating, and River was gonna shit all over it regardless.
I love season 2, man. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm saying, like, back in the season 2 and 3, it would seem like you were just shitting on shit, and I didn't quite understand it. But now we're kind of all on the same playing field. But, credit is given where it's due. And one last thing, I almost forgot it. It's funny. The scene that I don't understand is when they're in the house, Michonne comes out of the bathroom. She's like, how long was I in there? Like, I don't care how long you were taking a shit for 45 minutes, Michonne. And she's like, no. She's like, oh, just brushing my teeth is so great. My veneers never looked whiter. Okay, if she hasn't brushed her teeth in 5 years, she would have inflammation, gum disease, and it would hurt like shit to brush her teeth. She's bleeding. It wouldn't be a pleasurable experience brushing her teeth for 45 minutes. Be like, oh, my God.
Did she actually save veneers?
No, she didn't. That was me being a smartass, because she's got these like perfect Hollywood veneers, but she clearly is acting like she hasn't brushed her teeth in 5 years. and I'm just I didn't get that.
Stinky breath.
They would all have gingivitis. They would all be bleeding gums Murphy. They would all, like we've pointed out, they'd all smell like shit and BO. They would all. It's just, everybody's so well kept up, but that part just kind of drove me a little crazy. I don't know, but. Their teeth would be growing fur, basically.
I just wouldn't want to be the last one to shower, because they ain't going to be in the hot water in that motherfucker for hours.
No.
Hey, we need another house. We blew the hot water heater in this.
How many toilets are in that house? When's the last time they had a good toilet?
I know.
Not enough. So you can imagine the dumps are going to be taken.
You don't have to ask. All right, who didn't fucking flush? You see all the red pubes on the toilet. Seamus!
Seamus!
Look at all this shit with a bunch of potatoes in it.
Seamus's anus is pretty red too.
But yeah, I mean, and if you see the gray pubes, it's Carol.
Seamus like, oh, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, great episode all in all. Put it shortly. Looking forward to next week. Let us know what you guys think on all the little message boards, btmreview.com, Facebook, BTM Review, at BTM Review, and iTunes. I mean, if you guys still follow the old iTunes, let us know what you think. And I think we're pretty fair, but let us know if we're wrong. Or by all means, this is one of those episodes where certain people like to really point out the things we forget, because some people are really good about picking apart this show, and they just catch everything and pass that nerves, and they just they'll catch little nuances that are throwbacks to something 30 episodes ago. When I have a hard time remembering stuff from an episode or two ago, sometimes even the current episode. So I'm looking for this one to be a plethora of a bunch of information and insight concerning that. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, and we'll definitely chat about it next week. But until then, that's all I got. I'm Aaron.
Riverman.
Pat.
Thank you all.
Good night, Canada.